Wednesday morning. That means it's Picayune Wednesday. And around here, every Wednesday, we have the editor of the Picayune come in and talk to us. It's Daniel Clifton. Good morning, Daniel.
Morning, everybody. How are y'all doing this fine midweek day?
We're ready. We're ready. Of course, the latest edition of the Picayune out today on your doorsteps and around the area. And if you're not getting it, we'll tell you how to do that at the end of the conversation. But we want to talk about some things that you have in this week's edition of the Picayune. And one of the main things that stuck out for me is Veterans Day. Of course, is November the 11th. And honoring the veterans, we need to always do that. And you got a good story about that in this week's edition.
We got a list of things that are coming up on the 11th. Different schools. This is really what's really great about this area is the schools get out and do it. A lot of the elementary schools, they'll break off and hold some events and invite the veterans out to come out and honor and recognize them. Burnett Elementary does a great job. I mean, Bertram Elementary, R.J. Ritchie, Marble Falls Elementary, great programs and fun.
It's wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah, and the one at the R.J. Ritchie will host up at the Burnett Bulldog Field. It's big.
That's what I heard.
It's big.
It's a big one.
They come out and they really go all out for this.
So you've got the story about everything that's going on. Of course, it's November the 11th, but it's a weekly edition of the Picayune, so you've got everything covered in this week's edition.
Yeah, we have to get ahead of time. We can't wait till next week, otherwise it'll be a day late and dollar short.
late,
I think that was. So we like to remind folks and just keep up buoyant. And also on this weekend, I think on the 9th, Reveille Peak Ranch is hosting Reveille Call, which is a big event. They'll have like these. I think they want 100 teams of people will be competing, and it's made up of 10. And the team is made up of 5 veterans or military members and then 5 civilians. It's one of those things where you have the civilian and military crossing paths and coming together to have a good time.
Terry Freitag, one of our Hill Country hotties, was talking about that during yesterday's show.
Yeah.
Yeah, so make sure you salute the veterans. And remember, it is November the 11th. Get all the details and where you can celebrate with our veterans coming up in this week's edition of the Picayune. Now, recently, of course, we did the Moonlight Madness in downtown Marble Falls, and it's a yearly event that we do, and it's a great way to kind of focus on local shopping because there's so many big box stores around that sometimes we forget about the local businesses and what they have to offer. But there's a great story in this week's edition about doing just that, shopping downtown.
Yeah, we took a little focus on Main Street, downtown area, Marble Falls. There's a lot of people who I can understand the reason why. I think 281 is Main Street in Marble Falls, but you got to get off a couple blocks to the west, and there it is. And it's a really neat spot. They've got some neat stores, a little stuff you won't find anywhere else, from art, fudge.
Oh my gosh.
Clothing stores, furniture, some really great restaurants, and a theater.
And what's cool, I've lived here for years, and it seems like I always seem to discover something new each time I do. I found the best toffee in the world that I didn't know about until Moonlight Madness this last time. Yes. From Chocolat, right off Main Street.
I need to get in there. I need to get in there.
That's right across the street from where we were broadcasting.
And
so good.
And as you mentioned, 281, we have so many people that are traveling 281 and passing through the area, and they don't realize that there is a downtown Marble Falls. And as I've said before, I believe in shopping local, spending your money locally. So if you haven't visited downtown Marble Falls, you can get all the info about what's there in the latest edition of the Picayune. And then, of course, with the holidays coming up right around the corner, we got Thanksgiving, and then it's going to be Christmas time, and it's time for us here at KBEY to start talking about our annual food drive. And in the this week's edition of the Picayune, you've got a story about the pantries around the area that does some great work.
Yeah, we have several pantries. I think every community has a pantry, it seems like, and there's a need for it, and it's a growing need, and every year I think we do a story similar to this, but we have to remind folks that there are people who need some help. And the Marble Falls, the Helping Center Marble Falls, LeCare and Burnett.
There's also several area churches that have food banks, and they all need to stock their shelves.
Yeah, and especially this time of the year. And even I think one of the numbers that really shocked me was when we were talking to Sam Pierce over at the Helping Center, was that the number jumped from like in the 350s, 370s area of families each month, almost 600.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Yeah, and of course, 1 week from today, we're going to have our food drive to benefit LeCare and Burnett and the Marble Falls Helping Center. It's going to be at the Best Little Pawn Shop at the corner of 281 and 9th Street in Marble Falls, and we'll also be at our Burnett Studios collecting for LeCare there. So bring your non-perishable food items because it is very important. It is one of the biggest things that takes lives in America that we don't don't realize, and that is people going hungry. So Rita, all about the pantries in the area and how you can help with the food drive as well in the latest edition of the Picayune. As always, Daniel, good to see you. And remember, if you're not getting your Picayune, you can call
830-693-7152, and ask the ladies up front to get you on the list.
All right, and remember, as always, the Picayune is free. Thank you, Daniel. Talk to you next week.
All right.